Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, sports lovers, particularly soccer and of football, depending on what you call it in your country. Well, it's been a couple of days now since we've been covering the African Cup of Nations, at the Redeem Sports, at the King's Palace Television. It's been great, it's been wonderful, and we welcome you to this episode, the third episode in the series. It's been great, it's been wonderful. Tonight will not be an exception. It's going to be really great, covering and reviewing the matches that we've seen so far in AFCON, particularly the 4 matches that will be happening tomorrow. Sit tight because it's going to be fun, it's going to be great. We have so much to unpack in this episode because we have seen many matches so far and we're about to wrap up the group stages. You don't want to miss any part of this show. Go nowhere. My name is Tunde Badru, I'm your host, and my co-host is not changed. That's not going to change anytime soon. I have with me
Dimeji Ladele.
Dimeji, look, woo, the AFCON is taking shape. We've seen surprises. We've seen VAR calls.
Oh boy.
We've seen coaches that are not able to see that. Some of them went spiritual, like you said the other time. I mean, what has it been for you?
I think, first of all, Tunde, again, always a pleasure just hosting this session with you. For me, I think it's what everybody has talked about, the element of surprise, the element of not knowing who is going to come out of what group and by how, what margin will they come out of that group by. And it's just been an element of discovery for me as well. New teams that, Cape Verde, for example, and teams that nobody ever thought would go anywhere. The stone that the builders rejected has somehow is becoming the chief cornerstone. But yeah, to answer your question, it's just been a series of surprises. So I can't wait to get into this analysis.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's never Dimeji and I alone in the studio. We always, at all times, have great, analysts with us. We have one face that you have always seen. Is here again. Your guest as good as mine. We have Tunde Alimero in the studio. You are welcome again.
Thank you, Tunde.
Of course, not for the first time, definitely, perhaps the second time, on the show, we have a soccer veteran who understands the game of soccer, or if you like, football, as we know it in some other parts of the world. Olaolu Talabi, you're welcome on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Now we are going to dive into it as soon as we come back from this interlude. You go nowhere. This is going to be fun. It's going to be great. Sit tight because we're going to be back pretty soon and then we'll dive into the analysis.
At RCCG, the King's Palace, Katy, Texas, we are committed to bring a positive change to our community and the world at large. We are transforming the nations. We are world changers. In this season, we're equipping our members with powerful technology tools to strengthen engagement and accessibility to the church. Introducing the RCCG, the King's Palace mobile app, powered by ChurchPad. This mobile app addresses the core and expanding needs of our church, with a wide array of unique but connected features. With the mobile app, you get access to an interactive and completely personalized experience. Reserve your seat for in-person service, live streams, videos, and sermons. One-time or reoccurring giving options, view giving history, and download your contribution statements with a single click. Self-check-in and access to other amazing resources. With this revolutionary app, you can stay connected to RCCG, the King's Palace, participate in live events, give, and more. You can also receive alerts on important updates. The RCCG, the King's Palace mobile app is called RCCGTKP. It is available for free download in the Google Play Store and App Store. Download the app today.
Welcome, sports lovers, soccer and or football, like some of you may call it. We're talking AFCON 2023, played in 2024. This is the Redeem Sports at the King's Palace. Again, with me, we have Olaolu Talabi, Tunde Alimero, the usual suspect, and my co-host, Tunde Badru. It's going to be a great time today because we've explored so many games. I think we have, 4 games tomorrow? Mm-hmm. And those are 4 very critical games to happen in this stage. Tunde, why don't you kick us off?
I sure will. Thank you, Dimeji. Well, Tunde Alimero, I always love to start. To start with you. All right, the boys are now being separated from the men. We we are getting to, the third game in the group stages. Look, I think the African countries, North African, I meant to say, are struggling quite a lot. Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia. Out of 2 matches, Egypt with Mo Salah got only 2 points. Algeria, only 2 points. Tunisia, just 1 point. Morocco isn't doing badly, even though today they couldn't beat DR Congo. I think that ended in 1-1 draw. What's going on? It's unlike the North African teams. What do you think is going on with them?
Well, thank you so much, Tunde. I think the so-called big teams are becoming really, really tired now. That's one. And the so-called small teams are becoming fearless. Now, gone are those days when the fear of the name of a country that you're playing against Nigeria, the name alone scares you, let alone the players, the big players. But everything just seems equal now. So there's no... look, because of the games I've watched, there are even some games that if Cristiano Ronaldo was playing for some teams, it won't make any difference. Because these guys, they may not have all the professional players, in quote, but I'm telling you, they're playing the game of soccer. So there's no respect anymore. Gone are those days of respect. That's what I see.
Okay, will the dry bones rise again then? We got to this year with 1 point. Are they going to come back? Are we going to see Tunisia, Egypt, and Algeria in the round of 16?
Tonight, I can assure you, the dry bones will require a special miracle.
Maybe a touch of the spirit. Well, Aldo, it's not only the North African countries that are struggling. The giant Cameroon. Cameroon was in the semi-final in the last edition. Ghana went out in the group stages in the last edition, and we thought this time around, I think they will let that happen, but it's looking like it's happening. They both got 1 point out of 2 games. What's going on?
Oh, they are inconsistent, players showing up late, they're playing bad defense, sometimes bad coaching. It's not just the players, it's the coach as well. There's no consistency, so from top to bottom, there's dysfunction. So, and that translates to the field, right? So you have each team having 1 point. They are fighting for their lives, 1 game left. So, they're not showing a lot of heart, they're not, you call someone, like you're carrying the weight of your country on your back. So you have to show some type of resilience, show something on the field that shows, get the crowd going and they'll, get you going. But we don't see any of that, So, and that is what is showing up right now. So tomorrow, they've got a game to kind of prove to their country, to themselves that they belong. And, it's a tough situation to be in with just 1 point each. So, but somebody has to go home.
Yep.
And, that's the way it is. So, but hopefully, they'll play well, and either one can qualify or either one can go home. So, depending on tomorrow, we'll find out.
All right, Dimeji.
Thank you, Tunde. Tunde Lemire, I started out my introduction talking about one of the surprising teams in this tournament, which is Cape Verde, or Cape Verde, like some people will say. They really killed the Black Stars. I mean, they killed one of the giants of Africa. And they not only did that, they just annihilated Mozambique. I was shocked. And I think that's the largest margin so far in the tournament. So far, I mean, it's amazing. They did a great job. And they are now the first to qualify for the second round with 1 match left in the group stages. In your opinion, Tunde, can they sustain this tempo and go all the way to the final? As we have seen, not only in AFCON, in different competitions, in different sports, they start strong, but they don't finish well. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so Dimeji, this is still AFCON. So it's too early to talk about the finals now because we're still going to see a lot of surprises. But I must give it to the Cape Verde team. I was so impressed. They play very good football, and they've made a name for themselves. That I must say. But finals, I think it's too early to talk about finals. But they've done really, really well.
Wow. Lalo, before I get into your question, what are your thoughts real quick?
Well, so my thoughts so far in the tournament has been fun. You know, the unexpected is happening. You know.
Yeah, but can they sustain that tenacity? I mean, beating Ghana, going ahead, beating Mozambique. I mean, are they going to sustain this till the end of the tournament?
Well, I mean, they want to, but it doesn't always, pan out sometimes. People run out of gas. But the coaching is what's going to matter.
Okay.
The locker room. What the type of conversation they're having. To keep their spirits up.
So it's not only on the field of play, it's a combination of other things.
Correct.
Awesome. All right. Mozambique did well with Egypt and they almost claimed the victory, right? Thanks to Mo Salah, which unfortunately right now, I think Mo Salah is out, is injured right now. He got the penalty. So were you surprised and could it be that they became too confident after the match against Egypt at which they almost won?
Yeah, so usually, most times when you play a big team, right, you want to go all out because you're trying to make a name for yourself.
Absolutely.
And you beat them, and then the team that, maybe you guys are equal or you have a slight edge over them, you kind of relax and you kind of feel as if, you have the game in hand. And that's kind of what happened to them. Pretty much, they showed up, they showed out, and then the second game, they kind of regressed and relaxed and thought, okay, we have this, but they didn't have it. So that's exactly what happened. It happens all the time. We've seen it in different sports across, whatever sports you can imagine. So it's just, you just have to have a mental edge as to the fact that even though I'm playing this team that is big, I should have the same level of intensity when I play different team that I feel as if is superior.
So in other words, anybody could be the underdog. Yes, don't overlook anybody. Yes. Awesome. Tunde.
All right. Look, I think that group you're talking about, Group B, that has Ghana, Egypt, Cape Verde, and Mozambique, has been super, super interesting.
Yep.
Now, although Ghana has only 1 point with 2 matches, I think it's still very hopeful. They are playing Mozambique. Mozambique took Mo Salah and Egypt to the injury time for them, to equalize, only to now crash 3-0 to Cape Verde. Now, if you look at the mathematics, it will appear that Ghana may have some chance tomorrow, and if Ghana go ahead and beat Mozambique, that takes them to 4 points.
Yep.
We can't say Egypt will overrun Cape Verde. You never know; it can go either way. What do you think? What do you think about Ghana's chances?
Well, I'm still hopeful. Looking at their last game, they did really well against Egypt. They actually played that game. They came out. And there's something about the Ghanaian team, whenever they are in trouble, the way they take their games, you will know that, no, they gave in everything, but they had those silly mistakes cost them. Mo Salah wasn't that game.
No.
After that game, I had to go look at Mohamed Kudus, the West Ham guy for Ghana. He is such a very good, but for those silly mistakes. But I don't see Mozambique stopping Ghana in the next game. I don't.
Okay, fair enough. Well, okay, so Tony thinks Ghana will, beat Mozambique. That gives them to 4 points. Now, Egypt has 2 points from 2 matches. They are going to be facing the top guy, Cape Verde. What do you think?
Well, Cape Verde is already qualified to the second round, right? So, and they have nothing to lose. They might bring in their second string team and, allow them to play. Since, some of those players probably won't play. So this is a chance for them to get in. But at the same time, even though Mo Salah is injured, right? The team can gather around and say, okay, we want to go win this match for Mo. And they even play better than if he was on the team. So I think Egypt wins. I think they find a way. They galvanize around the injured player. They like him so well. He's well respected. And they will find a way to qualify, I think, and beat Cape Verde tomorrow. And I think Cape Verde is going to send out a lesser opponent.
So that they can get ready for the round of 16.
So they can rest,
Makes sense.
What I think.
Especially when I'm not sure anybody in that team can have 6 points.
No.
So,
Yes.
But Laolu, you'll be surprised because they may want to show the world that look, if we took Ghana down, then the fact that they were playing against Mo Salah's team, let's show these guys what we're.
You got to load man. I'm not a fan of load management. Well, you got to load manage as much as you can, and I just let the players rest, and yeah. All right. So Laolu, two nations are living up to expectations. Well, I would have thought Nigeria would have been one of them, but unfortunately, Morocco and Senegal, either by goal margin or by number of wins, they have played exceptionally well. Do you think if they don't meet, do you think they could ever be the two to come out in the finals?
I believe so. There's consistency here, right? If you look back to the World Cup, Morocco made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, they did.
And Senegal, I think, was quarterfinals, if I'm correct. Or they made it to the second round.
They went pretty far.
So they went pretty far. So you can see some consistency there. The players are gelling. They play well with each other. The coaching hasn't changed in a while. So there's some consistency there. So that's what we are seeing right now. They're performing well, and it's translating right now in the African Cup of Nations. So if they don't, meet themselves in the second round, I believe they might meet in the final.
But are you picking them? Well, this is not the prediction time, but are you strongly picking them to? I mean, especially by the way they play now.
Well, I can't root against Nigeria, so I'm still hoping they'll build some momentum. But they kind of, they have a good chance, Senegal and Morocco, to make it to the final.
Awesome. Thank you. Tunde Lemero, Senegal is the AFCON defending champion, and Morocco is the only country to have reached the semifinals of the World Cup. In AFCON 2023, which of these two things, or two teams, would you rate higher, Morocco or Senegal? And they have, I would say, a little bit of similar style of play, just a little bit. But in terms of tenacity, in terms of consistency, like Laolu has said, they've kept the same momentum. But which of both teams would you rate higher?
So, let me just say, I'm not decreeing, and I'm not wishing anything bad luck. If Senegal makes it to the final, they're going to keep that cup. Looking at what they played against Cameroon, I don't see. No, for me, if Morocco is on 50, Senegal is probably on 110. They played very good. And like they always said, consistency. Young boys. And to really make a mess of Onana, I wish Shegun was on the field. Onana in the manner that they did. No, I give it to Senegal.
Senegal all the way, if they ever met. Okay.
Awesome. Well, viewers, you go nowhere because the second round will be where we'll be, looking very closely at the 4 matches tomorrow. We will take a short break. It won't be long at all. Go nowhere because we will be back right in time. Stay there. We'll be back shortly.
Come on, how do you explain someone born a Muslim becoming a pastor? I mean, by the circumstance of the birth, you are ruled out from being a pastor. But God, who can rise above man's limitation, can bypass the circumstances of your birth and make you what he has ordained you to be. That's why I am here right now preaching to you, because I was born, raised a Muslim. My father wanted me to be the youngest imam in the family, but thank God I'm not the youngest imam. I am a pastor under Jesus. Come on, give the Lord a really big hand. Your back, connect to the right power. There are many fake powers around. Be careful. Be careful. The only true source of power is in the name of the Lord Jesus. By the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow, of things in heaven, things on earth, things underneath the earth, and every tongue must confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father.
Viewers, lovers of soccer and football, as you may want to call it in other parts of the world, it's been AFCON 2023 playing 2024. We are doing a total analysis at the Redeemed Sports at the King's Palace Television. I still have my guest with us, Tunde Lemero to my far right, and Laolu Talabi to my far left. The Mejias remain my co-host. Now we want to really dive into the matches tomorrow, 4 of them, and the different teams, to see how they're going to shape out and what we'll expect, to see. Go nowhere, sit tight, because we're going to dive right into the analysis now. Tunde Alemero, you are perhaps one of the very few that took a chance on Nigeria beating Ivory Coast. And I remember you followed and backed up with a decree.
Yeah.
I decree.
Not a prediction, a decree.
Well, congratulations, because that prediction, happened, and 1-0 to Nigeria. But some had said that it was just some element of luck, because Nigeria, didn't play that well. It was just some element of luck that gave them the victory. What do you think about the Nigerian match against Ivory Coast?
First of all, let me say that when something is good, we must accept that this is good. I think the Japanese call it Yoshina Yoshikanai.
Yes.
Good thinking.
Good products.
Good product.
Yeah.
Now, and I must give it to the coach. He had a plan. He had a plan, and that plan actually worked out. And you could see that these boys, the players, actually also came into that game. They were ready. Fine, Osimhen has not had the best of AFCON school so far, but you could see Osimhen's experience played out in that game. So I would say congratulations to the team, and there's still many more to come.
Awesome. Congratulations, Nigerians, and if you're a Nigerian soccer fan, I'm sure you're still rejoicing over that victory. It was unexpected. Many people didn't give Super Eagles of Nigeria the chance to be the host, but it happened. Now, Jose Peseiro perhaps has been the most criticized coach in this tournament, apart from maybe Chris Otton of Ghana, the Ghanaian coach. But like Tunde said, he came with a game plan against Ivory Coast, got the vital 3 points. Will you say he's found some chemistry with the team now? Can we say Nigeria is out of the woods, talking about coaching problem?
Well, I wouldn't say out of the woods yet. If you want to be fair, he inherited a team that was, that didn't go to the World Cup, right? So we failed to qualify. We got beaten out by Ghana in the 2 legs. Draw took us out. So, it's not an easy team for him to coach. There's a bunch of things that need to structural wise, from top to bottom, that needs to be addressed. So, but he's doing a good job. The last match, he executed a good formation. He packed it in. He packed the bus, I guess, like Jose Mourinho would call it. He packed the bus, and we got a goal, penalty, VAR turned into a penalty. So, but he still has a lot to prove. It's just not one game. It was just 1-0. We still have a game tomorrow. We need to qualify, get to the second round, go far in the tournament before we can start talking about if he's doing a good job or not. So that's
awesome.
I think Mourinho lost his coaching job a day to
he did.
US match. So I have a feeling that Peseiro probably called him. How can you help me?
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Tunde Alemero,
I think what people may not know about that is it was Mario that introduced Jose Peseiro to Nigeria. So that's where Tunde was coming from.
Without interview.
Without interview.
All right, so Tunde Alemero, if it's okay to call you the decreer. We spent the last 2 episodes talking about some of the gaps or the doubts in the goalkeeping area or section of your Super Eagles squad. And, it looks at this point like Nigeria has found a savior, a solution to that goalkeeping department with Stanley Nwabali. And, we've only seen, a few matches, and you've always said, let's wait for a few more to really see whether or not he's the chosen one. How would you rate his performance against Ivory Coast? And is he really the solution to the problem of Nigeria, especially after he kicked out Uzoho?
Okay, so I know that the major was one of those that said, I'd rather stay with Francis because this guy is new to this team and stuff. But looking at the Cote d'Ivoire match and looking at Stanley, I saw a Vincent Enyama on goal on post. This guy was doing his job, no pressure. And that's exactly what Vincent Enyama would do. And I watched the interview that there's a guy, I can't remember his name, that he had an interview with Vincent Enyama and Tai Taiwo.
Yeah, I saw that interview.
Yeah. This guy, he was just so calm. Now, the same, one of the attributes of Vincent Enyama is also this. He never gets to a point that he says, oh, I've arrived. When they interviewed Stanley, he said it wasn't even still a good game for me. So that's a guy who is really, really ready for this team. And I can just wish him the very best. But if I'm going to compare Stanley versus Francis, no, I'll go with Stanley, definitely. At this point, I will.
Okay, so you don't need more matches to prove his competence.
Okay, so more matches. And I don't care if Super Eagles if they go out of this competition. More matches will only improve Stanley. That's if the coach doesn't... He experimented Stanley. I hope he doesn't kick him out of the team. But more matches will only keep the confidence of Stanley and make him really what he's meant to be.
You know, like they say, you don't change the winning team, you don't change the winning solution. Thank you very much, Tunde. Laulu, Victor Osimhen is Nigeria's number one penalty kick, taker for Nigeria. But as you saw in the last game against Ivory Coast, he passed it to the captain, Ikong, who did an excellent job in securing the 1-0 win for your Super Eagles. And many people have said different things. There are many comments from different quarters about this. What's your view on Osimhen's, passing the PK to his captain to take that? And are we going to see more of the one person good at it, or one person that has been discovered to actually do a good job in the previous game, keep taking more PKs in case that opportunity comes up?
Well, I think on the team is the striker is the penalty taker, right? So, but
not in all cases. I mean,
yeah, no, but I guess
there are goalkeepers that are good. I mean, you know this.
I know, but I think as a team they nominated him to be the penalty taker. So in that instance, I wish he had taken it, because up until that point, he was struggling as a striker, right? So sometimes, as a striker, just scoring a goal can get you, boost you, give you some momentum
yep.
to start scoring goals. But in that instance, I can understand him showing a good gesture to his captain and allowing him, to play the penalty kick. And then also, I'm pretty sure in training, Tucson has been, practicing penalties.
Yes.
He did just throw him out there just to go play. Yeah. But he's been noticing that, and he's a good penalty taker, he's a captain. So he's a good gesture, and, he galvanized the whole country. Everybody was pumped up that he scored. So it's a good thing. So, but moving forward, I think for him, I wish he had scored. I mean, taking that penalty. Yeah. And just knowing that the ball went through the goal, which would have given him a lot of momentum. But in this case, I'm glad we scored.
Yeah, and, that's all that mattered at that point.
Next thing.
Yep. And Tunde Badger, before we get to Tunde Lemire, Nigeria, we don't take a lot of. Maybe it's an organized call that they don't call so much penalties for us. Have you noticed that especially in AFCON?
Well, I mean, I think it's too early. We never know. I mean, if we say yes and tomorrow we get 2 penalty kicks, then so let's see how the tournament will progress. You never know. I think it was Mokachi that was saying when he saw Nigeria, coming out with the white jersey. So, oh my God. Nigerians, we don't win matches.
Bad luck. White jersey.
That we have to break this jinx today. Yeah. And it happened. So you never know. There might be changes on different things that happened in the past.
All right. Okay. Look, you just said that Jose Bercero came out with a game plan, a solid formation that worked very well, and the game plan was solid. Are we going to see him stick to the plan, or will you recommend that he sticks to the plan playing against Guinea-Bissau, or should he be more attack-oriented in his approach, knowing that he has not been scoring that much? I mean, we scored only 1 goal in the course of play and then 1 PK. Will he want to be more adventurous, in an attack formation, or is he going to keep to 5 defenders playing from the rear?
I think whatever he did, I have a feeling that him playing a 5-3, the formation he played in last game, he probably must have gone to see what to do against the Ivory Coast team. So I think my advice to him will be to take each game, spend more time. Because if you look at the Nigeria-Equatorial Guinea game, so Equatorial Guinea, what they did was they knew how dangerous the Nigerian team could be. So they were actually very defensive. They scored the first goal and they did everything. Now, when Nigeria played against Cote d'Ivoire, we did this. As a matter of fact, the coach of Ivory Coast came out and said that this guy just came to frustrate us by playing defensive. So he must have looked at that game. So I think every game, and he's a guy, the Nigerian coach is a guy who likes to experiment, and I hope the next one works out. So look at the team, but playing against, okay, let me not go into that yet. Let me know that.
Yeah, and I think you are right. I mean, if you remember the last AFCON 2021, Nigeria got nine points. They won their 3 matches in the group stages. When they were going to play Tunisia, they stayed with their formation. I think they were using 4-3-3, if I remember. Yeah. And then they had mastered that formation, and Tunisia came out with a game plan, and then boom, Nigeria is out. So I will agree with you that, coming out with a formation that will suit the opponent will be the best way to go. Lalu, I mean, everybody, and I mean virtually everybody and everywhere, have said that the Nigerian team, Super Eagles, has perhaps, the most dangerous, attack in this tournament. But we've played 2 matches, only 1 goal because of play, and then 1 PK. Why are the attackers struggling? Not just only Osimhen, but I mean every one of them. Chukwueze, Lukman, they've not been able to score. What's going on?
Well, I mean, like you said, everybody's struggling across the board. There's new. So the last match they played a different system. Versus the first match, right? So there's not a lot of consistency across the team. Players need to, kind of ginger themselves sometimes. Coaches need to do a better job of getting their players in a mental state that they should be prepared for the match. So, and then also, the competition should already be bigger. It's a big stage, That's already motivation enough for you to ginger yourself to get this going. But for some reason, they are not in that mental space yet. Sometimes they look at the bottom line. Maybe they don't want to put their body on the line because they don't want to sacrifice their paycheck, because they pay for a professional team. You don't, things like that. There's a lot of stuff going on through their mind.
Yeah, Drogba was in the locker room to see the Super Eagles. I think he had a separate session with Osimhen. I read that at some point was saying, you could have scored 2 goals in that game. With that kind of conversation, Yejo Kucha was in the locker room as well.
Yes.
What do you make of those kind of things?
I mean, they are good. It shows that past players are coming to support you. They are giving you motivation. When you look up, you see them in the stand. They are cheering you on. They come to the locker room before the match. They greet you. So it's a way they are doing their job, right? So they've motivated you. Now it's up to you to go out there and perform. So,
in fact, as a matter of fact, I watched one of the video clips too. I can't remember. I think it was Boniface that posted that video clip of Okocha in the dressing room. What's his name? Ehenacho was telling Okocha after that game, that please always come to our dressing room to see us before every game.
Interesting. Well,
today, I don't know if it's a good thing that Drogba actually went to go see, because apparently, he's been Osimhen's role model, and so for you to show up, if I were Drogba, I probably would just ignore the Super Eagles and just go visit my team. But now you've gingered the Super Eagles, which, speaking of which, his team spent time with him, and they will really look forward to beating Equatorial Guinea tomorrow, Tunde Alamero. And with everything still open in that group, Equatorial Guinea would at least want to draw. They want to play draw with them. do you think that Ivory Coast will bounce back from the loss to the Super Eagles? Because quite honestly, they're both good teams, but everybody know that, especially in sports, any type of sports, when you have home court advantage, you're almost favored to win. And that was a huge blow. I remember looking at Drogba on the stand, and he was not looking good at all. Do you think that the host country will be able to bounce back and come out with a good win in their next game?
There's no good win. A win is a win.
But if you win with a margin, that is some good. I mean, look at the last game, 3-0 Cape Verde. I mean, that's a morale booster, right?
And Equatorial Guinea 4-1 against.
There you go. That's a morale booster.
It's going to be a tough game. Because Equatorial Guinea, honestly, even though they've done so well, they have nothing to lose so far. But I can assure you that Equatorial Guinea is going to take cue from Nigeria. They're going to try to really, really frustrate Cote d'Ivoire. They are also going to go defensive. They did that with Nigeria and it succeeded. Yeah. So they will do ×2 of that against Cote d'Ivoire. And if they score, if they are first to score, then that's it. But I want to speak to the last, the question you asked. So, and for me, it's a good thing that I've not seen that in a while in Africa. I saw videos and pictures of all the stars from different countries coming together as one, taking pictures. So just to let you know, okay, even though this is a competition, we are still one in Africa. And I think that's the first time I saw Okocha and all the gear and all of them coming together, taking pictures. And even for Drogba, this won't happen in the past. Drogba going to meet Nigerian team.
Oh, yeah.
That won't happen.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a welcoming event for the sports of soccer or football, as some people know it in Africa. Laulu, Ivory Coast beat Guinea-Bissau on match day 1. I think it was 2-0. But Equatorial Guinea beat the same team 4-1. Now, I like to call Tune Badru the mathematician here. So, because everything he talks about, there's always an element of mathematics. Will this mathematics give Equatorial Guinea a psychological advantage, or can we say that Equatorial Guinea is a better team than Ivory Coast?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, styles make matchup, right? So, and then, teams have bad days, teams have good days. So you can't, in this competition right now, everybody's good, right? So, but you can't say somebody.
I think everybody's good.
That's what
if you get beat 3-0,
but you turn around and you can. I mean, for example, you say Equatorial Guinea and Ivory Coast, right? So, I mean, Ivory Coast has a slight advantage because of their home. They have home advantage, right? You can say because they are home.
Home field advantage. Yeah.
So, in my own opinion, I would give them a slight advantage there, just for the home field advantage, that they're better, slightly better.
You think they're going to change the formation or?
Change, I mean, it depends on who they are playing. So if they study their opponents long enough, they can decide they want to tweak, their formations a little bit, or just stick with what they know. So, and then change in-game changes. So it all depends on what their film sessions are like, so.
Thank you. And I'm sure they're going to have a lot of those today.
Now we're at that point that I always look forward to. I don't know if we're going to get some decrees today. But, we're going to have the conclusion of groups A and B, tomorrow, at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Concurrently or simultaneously, we have Nigeria playing Guinea-Bissau and Ivory Coast playing Equatorial Guinea. In Group B, we're going to have Egypt playing Cape Verde and Ghana playing Mozambique. Now, I'm going to be calling for your predictions of each of these matches. But more than that is to then also come up with how they stand when they are done. Who's going to top Group A? Who's going to top Group B? Who's going to be second in Group A? Who's going to be second in Group B? We are going to be having 4 third place progressing to round of 16.
Yeah.
Are we going to see that in groups A and B? What do you guys think? I don't know. Anyone, you can start.
So I'll go ahead. So right now, Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria are tied for points. Right?
4 points.
Yes.
So, I mean, tomorrow's match is crucial Because if Ivory Coast beats Guinea-Bissau,
Now, Ivory Coast is playing Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial Guinea, if they beat them, they are currently on 3 points.
Yeah, so they're going to move to
They
5.
they move on to the
And
top
Equatorial Guinea
spot.
stays at 4.
Yeah.
Yes, so that becomes very tricky. So they need to go out there and just secure their win. If Equatorial Guinea wants to advance, they need to win. If Nigeria wants to advance,
So what do you think of
they
that
need to
game
win.
then?
So I think Nigeria will pull it out. They win.
A win against Guinea-Bissau?
Yes, they win against Guinea-Bissau.
1-0, 2-0.
I'll say 2-1.
2-1.
Okay.
2-1 Nigeria.
2-1 Nigeria. And then Ivory Coast beats Equatorial Guinea. I
Ivory
believe.
Coast. Okay, so
Yes.
if that happens, then Nigeria tops the group.
Yes.
And then
Ivory Coast
still at second. And then we're going to have Equatorial Guinea fourth.
Fourth.
Which
So
means Equatorial Guinea will still
Yes.
advance.
So I think if Equatorial Guinea qualify as a third place team from that group, because they all have 4, 4, and 3 points.
Points.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
So no,
compared
if it
to
happens the
everybody
way you
else.
said, Nigeria will move to 6,
Yes.
and then Cote d'Ivoire will be at 5.
Yes.
And then Equatorial Guinea will be at 4.
Four.
And I think the 3 will
Yes.
still.
Yes.
Qualify.
Actually, what do you think?
This is a tough one. First, it's looking like, at the minimum, I think Nigeria is going to score 3 goals against Guinea-Bissau. At the minimum, 3-0.
It could be more.
It could be more at the minimum, 3-0.
So are you saying 3-0?
Great.
Yeah. And that puts Nigeria at 7 points, I believe, right?
Yeah, 7 points. Actually. Yeah, 7 points.
Equatorial Guinea, Ivory Coast is looking like a draw to me. Even though both teams, I believe both teams will still advance, but it's looking like a draw to me. And that puts Equatorial Guinea at second and Ivory Coast at third.
Wonderful. Let's do Group B.
Okay.
Group B, we're going to be having Egypt playing Cape Verde, and then we're going to have Ghana playing Mozambique. What do you think?
So right now, Ghana and Mozambique are on 1 point each.
Yes.
It's tough for them to qualify as a third place team. Even if with the 4 points, I think Egypt wins. That's what I think. I think they win.
Cape Verde? Okay, so that takes Egypt
yeah.
to 5 points.
Yeah.
So
So
Cape
they-
Verde still at 6.
correct. So I think Egypt and Cape Verde is already gone. So
Yes.
Egypt is second.
Second.
I don't think there's anybody else that will come out of that group.
No, if Ghana beat Mozambique, that's 4. That's not bad. That would be
4 points.
6-5-4.
Okay. So
So
it's
either
tough.
way, if
It's
Mozambique,
tough.
if
It's
Mozambique
tough.
beats Ghana, it will
Yeah.
be 4 as well.
Yeah.
I would suspect that 6-5-4 might advance.
Which is okay. So compared to the Group A, which is 7-5,
It's same.
7-5-4.
So very 7-5-4.
7-5-4, yeah.
6-5-4. Okay. Yeah, I think in that case, yeah, I would nominate Group B as well.
Yeah, sure.
If it happens in the way which is Ghana beats.
Is that your prediction? Or your
Yes. So
speculation?
Ghana beats
Mozambique, yeah.
Ghana beats Mozambique.
1-0, 2-0.
I'll say 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Okay, so that takes Ghana to
3-1.
4 points.
Yes.
And then Egypt beats
Cape Verde.
Cape
Cape Verde.
Verde.
Yes,
So
sure.
Cape Verde still at 6.
6.
Egypt will move to 5.
Yeah.
And then Ghana will move to 4.
4.
Yes.
All right.
But Tunde, did we get his predictions for Egypt, Cape Verde?
No, not really, actually.
Egypt, Cape Verde. So Egypt, I'll say 1-0. Egypt.
In favor of Egypt. Okay.
Yes, 1-0.
Okay, so for me, for this group, the number of goals has not been released yet. After all, the coach of Nigeria came up, got the rosary out of his pocket during the penalty. So I'll say the number of goals hasn't been released yet, so I can't just declare what I've not received. But I see a draw. Egypt, Cape Verde. I see Egypt going home. Ghana definitely will beat Mozambique.
Okay, so if Egypt draw, will put them at 3 points.
Yes.
And Ghana
So-
will then be 4 points.
Yes.
Okay. And, okay.
And I'm not sure 3 points will take Egypt to, I don't know.
Yeah, it will be tight. It will be very, very
Okay.
tight. Well, Dimeji, I mean, you have a way of wrapping things up.
Yes. Again, thank you very much for joining us. Afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you're watching from. Again, we're talking AFCON 2023, played in the year 2024, and we've been having good analysis with Tunde Limero, Laulu Talabi, and my co-host, Tunde Badru. Again, my favorite aspect of this show. Tunde, you're a life coach, you're a pastor, you're a friend, you're a father to many, and we really appreciate that. You know, something that came to mind today, really not scripted for me, was the fact that we've talked about formation changes. And should teams continue to play the same formation or adapt or adjust to different opponents? In life, do you maintain the same strategy against different things that are thrown at us?
I would say, in life, you have to study the situation and respond to situations based on what you see. I mean, I don't know the reason why, Jesus told that man born blind in John chapter 9, verse 4, he picked clay, spat on it, put it in the eyes, and said, go and watch and see them. But when he was blind Bartimaeus, he just said, receive your sight.
Two different strategies.
I mean, you got the same problem, but two different approaches to the solution. I think we need to carefully understand the situation, and that tells you what you need to do. I think I had a session yesterday, a kind of a retreat, and I had a video that I showed where the rabbit and the turtle were having a race. And then, of course, the rabbit dashed forward very quickly and was ahead. So, man, this guy can't catch up with me even in one day. And then he slept off, and then the turtle came and won. The second time they raced, the guy said, no way, no more sleeping. Boom. He just dashed and won. And the turtle figured it out and said, look, there's no way, if I practice every day, there's no way I can, run faster than this rabbit. But I know what to do. I'm going to change the path of the race. So I went to Mr. Rabbit and said, hey, we're going to race again, and I'm going to beat you this time. Although we have to change the path to the race. It doesn't matter what path. I'm going to beat you any day. It's okay, let's do it. And then Mr. Turtle picked a path that has river before you finish. Boom, Rabbit took off, running very fast, was way ahead until he got to the river, and he stopped. Of course, the turtle came, looked at him and smiled, and just burrowed, and then won the race. So it has to be situational. You have to approach life in that same manner. And hey, who knows the future better than the creator of life himself? And that's why it's very important to let him guide you. Because then he can give you these strategies and these plans that you need from time to time. Because to depend on your wisdom and knowledge, that can fail. And that's why I call people to always go back to the manufacturer, to always go back to the one who knows everything. And if the person who knows everything is available to share wisdom with you, it will be very foolish to ignore, the one that is all wise. So I think the answer to your question is it has to be situational, but you have to go to the person who knows all the situations and can therefore give you strategy, to navigate every situation.
Thank you, Tunde. No wonder the Bible says that trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Right. In all your ways, acknowledge Him and He'll direct your path. Minister Tunde was also talking today, Tunde Limmer was talking today about I think it was receiving instruction or it was something in the direction of your assignment and having the right people, listening to the right people. I think that was it.
And dropping your ego.
And dropping your ego. So I think it all fits together. When God gives you instructions, when you go back to the manufacturer, sometimes, He puts people in your life for you. So you got to listen to the right person. You got to listen to, you've always given us an analogy about an automotive or a car. If your car is bad, you take it to the manufacturer. He gives you the exact part that should fix that vehicle. So it all works together. We celebrate all of you watching. Again, please don't forget to subscribe, like whatever social media platform you're watching this program on. Again, this is the Redeemed Sports at the King's Palace. We're excited for the 4 matches that will be played tomorrow. Allah Lutalabi, thank you very much for coming. Tunde Limmer, always a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Couldn't have a better co-host than Tunde Badru, the mathematician. I called him the mathematician first. Thank you very much, and we'll catch you later on.
Of course, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube.
Twitter, Facebook, all the social media platforms. Yes.
Please.
Like and share. Enjoy tomorrow's match, and let's hope that some decree and predictions will come true. You have a good one. Thank you very much, Lalu. Thank you very much today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.